Okay, I'm sorry in advance. I'm probably gonna butcher this, so just cut me a little slack, right? Anyway, bonjour. Je suis parler environ forme physique, compétition et passatemps en français. Le français n'est pas exactement perçu. Ils n'est pas aussi dans forme physique, aussi nous sont en les États-Unis d'Amérique cependant. Um, so pretty much, I was doing my presentation over, general fitness, kind of that whole idea of self-preservation, self-wellness in France. And I kind of started researching it and found out that um, they don't really put much stock in like self-preservation, wellness, general fitness, that kind of thing. Only 5.4% of France's entire population even belong to a gym. And I read a couple of blogs from some people, and it was pretty much just saying that fitness is like a really mainstream thing here in America, and in France, it's more of like a really like small niche type thing. Like, not a lot of people really participate in that. So I did a little more research into like competitions, sporting, like events, that kind of stuff, and what they really pay attention to, because I figured that was kind of like the next best thing. So I found like three: cycling, rugby, and sailing. They really pay attention to a lot of those, sailing, especially when they're on the coast or close to the coast. So I figured I'd kind of elaborate on a little bit on each of those. So cycling, obviously, France is the host of the Tour de France, and one of the longest, or it's one of the longest bicycle primaries in the world. So in 2014, it was actually the route they actually took was actually almost 2,300 miles. And actually in 1926, that was the longest route they ever took, and that was 3,570 miles. So up until the 60s, I was kind of just reading some facts. Up until the 60s, they actually allowed the participants to drink alcohol during the race because it numbed the pain. And then kind of, once the 60s hit, they banned that because they considered it a stimulant. So anyway, cycling is one of the most popular pastimes, sporting events, I guess you could call it exercise for the French. It's pretty popular in big cities, going through the parks, even like the suburbs and whatnot. It's a popular form of like fitness. It's also a popular form of just like general transportation. So everything I kind of looked up, French are really big in cycling, bike riding, that kind of stuff is a very big thing with them. So the next one, rugby. I wasn't really sure where this was popular, and so I started kind of researching it and figured out in France it's actually a pretty common thing to watch the rugby games on TV. So popular to watch on TV. France's national rugby union team is France's team in the rugby union. So not very original with the name, but they play England, Ireland, Italy, Scotland, and Wales annually in the Six Nation Championship. So in 2017, England won. And France is kind of, I did a little research on their team, and they're kind of, they're not very reliable. I read multiple, I guess you can call them reviews or of the team, and they say, they'll come on really strong to begin with, and they're, really just kind of killing it. And second half, they come back, and I can quote one of the guys, and he said they come back in the second half, and they look like they've just come back from a wine tasting. So their rugby team is really unpredictable. But Sébastien Chaval is actually a retired rugby player who played for France's team from 2000 to 2011. He's actually a pretty common household name. He's pretty known. He actually won his first international cap against Scotland in 2000. So he kind of came like right off the bat, just like real strong right off the bat. Anyway, to sailing, and I really elaborated on sailing. Very popular pastime on the coast if you have access to it. So France is a starting point for a lot of boat races, such as the Route des Rhum, Vendée Globe, and Solitaire de Figaro. So I was going to kind of elaborate a little bit on all three of those because they're all three pretty big events. So the Route des Rhum is a transatlantic yacht race taking place every 4 years in November. The course is between Saint Malo, Brittany, which is in France's, I guess, northwestern more so area, and Pointe Pitre, Guadalupe. So the entire route take is 3,542 miles, and the current record holder is actually a man named Loch Perron, who finished that entire route in 7 days, 15 hours, 8 minutes, and 32 seconds. So I don't want to compare this like the Olympics, but it's a comes on every 4 years, and it's pretty widely renowned and known, especially so in Europe. So the Vendée Globe, hardest, most infamous sailing race in the world, sailing around the world alone, nonstop, with no assistance. So starts and ends in Les Sables or de Olonne. So kind of like the goal of it is like you must round 3 capes. So it's the Cape of Good Hope, which is in South Africa, Cape Leon, which is in South Australia, and Cape Horn, which is in South America. So again, organized every 4 years, and actually started in 1989. And this was kind of more so like a really kind of dangerous one. A lot of people kind of participated and just kind of disappeared, like got lost in it. So it's a pretty widely renowned thing. It's definitely watched by a lot of people in France. Again, it's more of like a European thing. You don't have a ton of people in America really paying too much attention to it. Okay, yeah. So the actual current record is held by Francois Galbert, who finished in 78 days. So all the way around the world in 78 days by himself. Okay, so finally the La Solitaire de Figaro, not quite as big as the other two, not quite as widely renowned, still starts in France. That's kind of, I guess, like hosted by France, you could say. So it's an offshore month-long yacht racing, and it's exposed to the rough waters of the North Atlantic. So it's kind of known to be very dangerous. There's been a lot of like accidents, there's been a lot of injuries, at this event, which I guess kind of makes it like fun to watch. Like people get hurt, and I guess everybody kind of likes watching people get hurt. So I kind of, from all the research I did on this and the majority of the project, I kind of took from it that the French seem to enjoy more like locational sporting events. It's not so much bettering themselves, bettering their body or their nutrition or whatever it may be. I feel like they more so enjoy just the idea of competition. I feel like competition is a very prominent part of French culture, whereas us in America, we're kind of, I don't want to say conceited or like self-centered, but we tend to work on ourselves a lot, and I feel like the French are more just, it's like beat others, and there seems to be like a lot of traveling, a lot of stuff that's not really not really quite as popular here in America. But yeah, like I said, 5.4%, only 5.4% even belong to a gym. So that's kind of why I switched it up a little bit. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got. So hopefully I kind of hit every point. I got everything I talked about on here on the paper. So yeah, anyway, that's it.